Today we'll be looking at converting units, in particular planning an athletic center. And the first step to understand to be able to do this, we need to understand how to convert between units. Now in this situation you can see we have my yard or Mr. O'Brien's yard, and we're comparing it to Mrs. Wagner's yard. Now this is totally fictional, but I'm just using our names for the purpose of the video. And what you can see here is I measured my yard in feet. My yard is 67 feet by 63 feet. Multiply those two numbers together and you get 4,221 feet squared. It's area, so you need the little 2. Now Mrs. Wagner, when I told her to measure her yard, again this is fictional, she measured hers in yards. And her yard is 21 yards by 18 2/3 yards. So we see here her yard is 392 yards squared. So at first glance you're thinking, oh my, Mr. O'Brien's yard is gigantic compared to Mrs. Wagner's, but then you realize something that's kind of a big deal. You should notice that Mrs. Wagner's yard is measured in yards and my yard is measured in feet. So what we need to do is we need to convert. Okay, so we will need to convert. So we need to go from feet to yards. Now I know, and hopefully you know, that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So when we're converting, we are going from feet to yards, so we are going from small to large or fly to horse. We need to divide, of course. So we need to divide by 3 and divide by 3 to figure out how many yards. Now at quick glance I see that 63 feet is a pretty quick fact. That goes in 21 times, so that's 21 yards. Now 67 feet, 3 goes into 67 22 times with 1 left over. Now that 1 left over will be written as a fraction. So my yard is 22 1/3 yards by 21 yards. We'll come back and finish that and figure out exactly how many yards squared that is here in just a bit. Now let's look at Mrs. Wagner's yard. Now we need to convert, except we need to go the other way. Now we are going from yards to feet. So this would be large to small, or what the saying goes, horse to fly. A horse is larger than a fly, so horse to fly we multiply. So with these numbers we will be multiplying both numbers by 3. So 3 times 21 is 63. And then we do 3 times 18 2/3. If I do 3 times 18, I know that's 54. And 3 times 2/3 is 6/3 or 2. So that actually equals 56 feet. So now that we've converted to feet for Mrs. Wagner's yard and my yard from feet to yards, now we have a few multiplication problems to do here, and then we'll be done. So as you can see, I went ahead and multiplied these out, and I did 22 times 21. Type that in my calculator. You could calculate it by hand. Got 462. And then I did 1/3 of 21 equals 7. Added them together and got a grand total of 469 yards squared. Now for Mrs. Wagner's yard, when you multiply 56 times 63, you get 3,528 feet squared. Let's take a look at some other practice problems for you to try. And for the try these, excuse me, I would like you to try the 17 feet times 16 feet. Please write your answer here. And then I would like you to convert these two numbers, 17 feet and 16 feet, change them into yards, and then find the area in yards as well. Likewise with the problem in yellow, taking 9 yards times 7 2/3 yards and convert them to feet, finding that area, and then also finding the area in yards as I mentioned. So again, write this for my kids in my class. You can write this on a piece of paper, hand this in to enter the prize drawing, and I hope this helps.